Welcome. This is Disha with Women's Health AI, and today I'll be speaking to oncology dietitian Caitlin Russell about whether viral cancer fighting diets actually work.
Yeah. So there are a lot of opinions. There's science backing up, certain things when it comes to these popular diets that they can be kind of hard to follow. Some of them can be hard to follow, but really, there's no one size fits all approach to nutrition. Especially when it comes to cancer. So in terms of like plant-based or keto or things like, doing intermittent fasting, they all have some potential benefits from, reading through the research and the science, but they also can have some limitations. For example, the ketogenic diet, it's very low in carbohydrates and fiber, and it's usually really high in fat. So the keto diet has been studied for its potential to slow cancer growth in certain cases, but following a keto diet can be really hard to sustain long term. And like I said, it's low in fiber, which in the long run, we need to get enough fiber. So if somebody's going to do keto, if they're working with someone, helping them plan out a healthy ketogenic diet, then usually we would look at that as not being a long-term strategy. So because you're missing out on the fiber. And then a plant-based diet is one of the most well-researched dietary approaches for cancer prevention and survivorship. So, and this is because with all of the plants and following a plant-based diet does not mean that you're vegan. It does not mean that you don't eat any animal products. There's a spectrum, right, of what people want to do, what they're comfortable doing, whether it's for ethical reasons or religious reasons, or just, they just feel better eating a certain way. Some people include certain, animal-based proteins in, and some, obviously don't. But overall, a plant-based diet provides a lot of antioxidants, which are important for reversing disease. In some cases, the plant-based diet can also give us that fiber, and and it just supports our overall health usually. If someone is vegan, for example, though, if they're following a solely plant-based diet with no animal products, we want to just make sure that we're getting enough protein. It is possible to get enough protein on a completely plant-based diet. We just want to make sure we're doing that the right way. And we also want to make sure that we've got enough B12. So occasionally getting your B12 checked is also really important if you're following a completely plant-based diet. And then, omega-3 fats, we can get them through fish. So if somebody's not eating fish, then you just want to make sure you're including other sources of omega-3 fats, things like nuts and seeds and olive oil and things like that. Intermittent fasting has, it's shown some promise for reducing inflammation for sure, and for helping to improve insulin sensitivity. It's also been shown to help support cellular repair. So, but again, it's kind of like being plant-based. The intermittent fasting, it can be a spectrum. Some people consider fasting, the 12-hour fast that they have from between dinner to breakfast, right, the next day is a fast. Versus, some people really extend their fasts, and so there's just so many ways to go about fasting. But again, I would really want someone to work with somebody who is in the healthcare field, like a dietitian, a nurse practitioner, somebody, a licensed nutritionist who could help them develop, a good way to go about that in a way that's really healthy. So for some cancer thrivers, fasting can be helpful, but again, you need to do it carefully, especially during active treatment. because we want to maintain our strength and get enough food, nourishment, especially when you're going through, cancer treatment. So I tend to just say, for general advice, I would just focus on kind of what I've mentioned rather than just following like a rigid dietary rule, because it can be very stressful and it can, you worry, am I doing this right? So again, just focusing on nutrient dense foods when you do eat is usually the most realistic and sustainable.